Good evening. Once again, welcome to Woman on the Rise. Sorry for coming on so late. Got a late start this morning and work was really busy, so I didn't have a chance to get on here. But I did want to get on here and just share a brief word with you. I was reading out of Joshua 6 verses 1 through 21. Um, it talks about Joshua. Joshua was the person that God put in charge of the Israelites once Moses had passed away. And in this scripture, it talks about God coming to Joshua and telling Joshua that when he gets to Jericho, which is a small town, but in order for them to get across the Jordan, they have to pass through Jericho. So it was like, I guess we could say, in the way. So God told him that once you get to Jericho, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take the covenant of the Lord, and you can look it up to see what it is. It's a gold box that they carry with the Spirit of God within it. He told him that he wanted him to, once he arrived at Jericho, him and his army, he wanted his army to first put some of the army men in front of the Ark of the Covenant. And he also wanted some in the back of the Ark of the Covenant. Once he got to Jericho, he told them that he wanted them to march around Jericho for 6 days, one time. He said no one is to say anything. Don't say a word. He said, but on the 7th day, I want you to walk around Jericho 7 times. And once you hear the trumpets blow, which the people that were in front were the ones that had the trumpet. He said, once you hear the trumpet blow, then I want everyone to shout. Shout so loud that the walls of Jericho will come falling down. So I kind of had two thoughts on this. And like I said, I'm going to be brief. I kind of had two thoughts on this. First, it was God will ask you to do the impossible so he can show you the possible, him. Because when we think at it in our human mind, we're thinking, okay, there's no way no one can shout and bring down a whole city. But see, it wasn't in them that the city was coming down. It was God. But he wanted to prove himself to them. And he wanted to show his might also to the city of Jericho. Second thing I got from that was, what walls are we carrying around that God needs to tear down? The wall of worry. And the things I name are sometimes some of the things I deal with. And as this being a ministry, then I like to reflect on the things that I have to deal with. Could one of the walls be worry? Could one of the walls be depression? Could one of the walls be not feeling like you're worthy enough? Could one of the walls be loneliness? Could one of the walls be feeling unloved? Whatever that wall is, this showed me in these scriptures. And I don't know if I said it, but it's Joshua chapter 6, verses 1 through 21. I didn't read it because it was a lot, but I've kind of given you all the details about it. But again, it made me think about something I was dealing with this morning. And when I read this, I was like, okay, God, the first thing I noticed was that you can make the impossible possible. Even when we don't see it, even when we can't comprehend it, even when we think it's the craziest idea in the world, when we think maybe this wasn't you, maybe this was me doing this on my own, and it wasn't you telling me to do it, it makes you second guess what God has called you to do. So when I read this, it kind of enlightened me that, yeah, you're doing my will. Yeah, it seems impossible. Yes, it seems sometimes can be discouraging if you feel like no one's paying you any attention, or the word is not getting out to anyone, or people are not watching the videos, people are not going to YouTube. Yeah, it caused me some discouragement. And I'll be honest, it caused me discouragement not because people I don't know is not listening or going to subscribe. It's people I do know. It's people I'm close with. And this morning I woke up feeling discouraged. But God didn't let that last. The other thing was, me feeling that way meant that I was putting myself in a place to where, once again, I was allowing people to decide how worthy I am. Or I was allowing people to make me feel a certain way. And that's not what this is about. It's about pleasing God. It's about doing what God told me to do. But taking me to the scripture made me look at that. It made me see once again that God called me to do this. And any walls that I may have felt was coming up against me, they needed to be torn down. They needed to be removed. They needed to be out of my mind, worrying about what people think or why I don't have support like I should. It made me realize that I guess in some part of me, I still deal with trying to please people. And God had to show me that those walls have to come down. I can't do what He called me to do if I'm worrying about who is listening. Because one thing I do know, the ones that God ordained to listen, they'll see it. The one that's meant to hear that word for that day, they'll see it. Whether it be on Facebook or whether it be on YouTube, they'll see it. So I come on here because it's like every time I think I'm getting discouraged, God shows me that I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I'm leading you. I'm guiding you. I'm directing you. And I need you to trust me. Because think about it. These people that were going to Jericho, they had to trust what God was telling them to do. No matter how crazy it sounds, they had to trust that what God was telling them to do. And in order to trust what God is telling you to do, you have to do it. You have to step out on faith and do it. Regardless of the views, regardless of I like what I hear. And I have got that. So it's not that I haven't. So I'm not bashing. I'm just saying that something had to be released in me today. And it had to be walls that I still felt like I have to protect myself. Where I feel like I have to Watch what I say. Watch what I do. Because people are watching you and they're going to judge you. And they're going to say things about you. But God showed me in the scripture that all I have to do is trust him. No matter how crazy it may sound to someone else that's on the outside looking at the video or not looking at the video, I still have to trust what God told me to do. Just like the people that went to blow the trumpet and shout with a good shout and the walls of Jericho come falling down. I had to trust that. I have to trust what God told me to do. I also had to remove the walls that kept me worrying about what someone think or why people are not viewing it and why people are not commenting on it or why people are not even on there saying, will you pray for me? Okay, this hit me close to home. I had to bring that wall. Well, not me. God had to reveal that wall to me in order for me to pray and let that wall be removed. So I don't know if this was encouraging for somebody, but I needed it. I needed it. So I'm going to say this video was something that I needed. And that it's okay to do what God tells you to do, because God said he's not going to start something and not finish it. Especially if you're doing his will. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing God's will. All I pray is that what I'm doing will touch somebody, will change somebody, will direct somebody to God. That's why I'm on here. I'm not on here for no one to glorify me. I'm on here so that God can be glorified. And I still want people to realize that any walls that you may have, any things that may be holding you back from doing what God has called you to do, pray about them and ask God to remove them. Don't let walls come up or matter of fact, allow God to remove the walls that are there. Allow God to remove the stony heart. Allow God to let you know that you don't have to protect yourself because I got you. Because that's what God says. That's what I feel like he's saying to me tonight. You don't have to keep protecting yourself from hurt and disappointment. Because I got you. Just like I had Joshua and his army, I got you too. And the reason that the wall came down, the reason that God did it this way was to show his power. And it made me realize just how powerful a God I serve. That even when I'm at my lowest, or even when I feel discouraged, God is still with me. God is still going to protect me. And as long as I know that God is with me, I'm going to continue to do what he asks. I'm going to continue to come on here. I'm going to continue to give a word that I hope that will encourage one person. If it ain't but one, I'm going to continue to live my life that way. And I pray to God that whatever wall I have up, that he brings it down. That he brings it down. You know, I talked about one other time that stop looking to people to do what only God can do. And that was revealed to me tonight. That was revealed to me tonight. Stop looking at what people can do for you and look at me, what I'm going to do for you or what I'm doing for you. But I know this sound like it wasn't encouraging, but it was meant to be. It was meant to be encouraging for someone that think the impossible, God can make it possible. And it was also encouraging so that anyone that has built up walls where people have hurt you, and the only thing you know is to protect your heart. Allow God to bring those walls down. I pray that God watch over you tonight, keep you safe. I pray that He gives you the desires of your heart. And I pray that at least one person may have been going through what I went through today, and God was able to help them like He helped me. On that note, sorry, like I told y'all, I cry now all the time. Go to YouTube, hit share, subscribe, and like to get to my videos. Go to the search, put in "Welcome to Woman on the Rise," and it will bring up all my videos in its entirety. And once again, I want to thank y'all for joining me. Sorry I did it late, but I might change it to the evening time because I'm in my zone. I'm at home so I can relax and all that. So I might change it to the evening because I like doing it in the evening, I think. In the morning, I feel like maybe I'm rushing. In the evening, it just seems like I'm in my zone. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you once again for tuning in. And again, I pray for a hedge of protection over you and your family while you sleep. Ask God to cover you, to bless you, and to also, if anyone is suffering with depression, oppression, I pray that God removes that and that He brings nothing but joy and healing. Okay, I'm going to stop. Okay, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. It might be tomorrow evening, not tomorrow morning. I tell you what, the ones that do see it, y'all let me know which one you like. If you like it in the evening or if you like it in the morning. And we'll just go from there. So, good night. And I pray nothing but God's blessing over your life. Thank you.